Thanks to Baron of Dice, Grey Matter Gaming, and Monument Hobbies for sponsoring this video. Necrons have been riding high in 10th edition, supporting a broad range of army builds via strong detachments, a few key centerpiece units, and a great range of supporting utility tools. Hypercrypt Legion's movement tricks have been a constant bugbear, but the strong all-rounder options of Awakened Dynasty and Obeisance Phalanx have also seen some play. Wildest of all is that this newly released Starshatter Arsenal detachment might somehow be the best of the bunch. If you'd rather read about why it rocks so hard than listen to me yammer on about it, head on over to goonhammer.com, link in the description. Detachment Rule: Relentless Onslaught. Each time a Necrons model makes an attack that targets an enemy in range of an objective marker, add 1 to the hit roll. In addition, all Necron vehicle and Necron mounted units, excluding Titanic ones, get Assault on all of their ranged weapons. This simple set of abilities is exceptionally strong. Almost all Necron units hit on 3s or 4s, so +1 to hit when going after key targets is gonna make this army even more reliable, especially for units like Triarch Praetorians that can benefit from this rule in multiple phases. You won't exclusively be shooting at units on objectives, but this helps get the job done when it matters. Part 2 really helps Locusts of all type operate, and is a nice bonus for Doomsday Arcs or Doomstalkers trying to line up shots. The combination of effects also makes Particle Beam or Tomb Blades worth looking at, as they're speedy and have a load of shooting, operating with near impunity once you factor in the stratagems, which we'll be looking at in a minute. This is a great foundation to build on top of, but also doesn't lock you into any one build, though Locusts and vehicles will get the most from it. We've got a rock-solid set of enhancements here, with great support, mobility, and defensive buffs. Dread Majesty gives an Overlord or Command Barge a reroll 1s to hit and wound aura. How can you say no? Miniaturized Nebula Scope, aside from sounding very silly, lets a unit ignore cover. Great on your Locusts. Demanding Leader lets a vehicle or mounted unit nearby fall back and shoot. This detachment focuses on units you really don't want getting tied up in combat, so this is a great enhancement. Chrono Impedance Field hands out a -1 to incoming damage on a vehicle or mounted unit, so you can go ahead and protect your Locusts or make the Silent King a truly unkillable nightmare. The hits keep coming in these stratagems, which range from pretty good to contenders for some of the best stratagems in the game. You really want to be bringing Emotech along so you can go ham on these. Also, all of these exclude Titanic units, but that shouldn't shock you. What should shock you is reminding you that the Silent King is not Titanic, merely very swole. Merciless Reclamation gives a flat +1 to wound when one of your units shoots or fights a unit on an objective. This could do anything from power up your Immortals shooting to punch above their weight, to letting your Catan hit something so hard it sees the curvature of the earth. Unyielding Focus flips that around. Pop this on one of your units, and they'll be -1 to be wounded by attacks with a higher strength than their toughness for the phase, because I guess Necrons needed to be even more durable. Chrono Shift does the old turbo boost thing, granting an automatic 6-inch advance for vehicles or mounted units. Considering all the guns on those units are assault in this detachment, you can get a lot of use out of this one. Dimensional Tunnel lets your vehicles and mounted units Kool-Aid man their way through terrain and models, moving through them freely. Set up a charge with the Catacomb Command Barge, or just use it to get your Doomsday Arcs and Locusts around. Endless Servitude lets you trigger reanimation protocols on a unit on an objective you control at the end of your fight phase. If you already hold an objective, you don't need to get more dudes on it to flip it or anything like that, but you can use this to heal a key unit if you need to. Reactive Reposition is an astoundingly good reactive move stratagem. You pick one of your units that was shot at and can immediately move them d6 inches or a full 6 inches for vehicles and mounted units. Hide an important unit before your opponent can focus it down, shift onto an objective, or just get your guys where you want them to be. The world's your Canoptek oyster. This is a detachment with a load of movement and damage dealing options, but it obviously focuses on mounted and vehicle units. It provides mobility to get them into position and adds protection for plenty of them via the enhancements and stratagems on offer. You can either go hard in that Necron vehicle park, or maybe support them with a few big bricks of infantry, as limited quantities of both warriors and immortals can get plenty of value here. Max out on durable shooting with the Silent King, Caesarek, and a load of Doomsday Arcs and Destroyers, and let some utility units fill in the rest. Pretty much the only units that don't sing in this detachment are Titanic units like Monoliths and Tesseract Vaults, since they don't really benefit from any of its rules, but Hypercrypt Legion is still right there. When we got the rules for this detachment, we honestly wondered if the rules team had just forgotten that the Silent King doesn't have Titanic, because having many of these rules and stratagems applying to him is a really big deal. The strengths definitely outweigh the weaknesses here. There's some great movement tech here. Everything from extra speed to moving through walls to reactive moves. We've got big buffs for mounted units. Locusts are going to have a great time. Extra movement and assault on your vehicle and mounted units will make it difficult to hide from those big guns. There are still a few downsides though. It doesn't do much of anything for infantry. While those stratagems are great, you're going to need a lot of command points for them. Lastly, there's no way this detachment survives unnerfed for long. Look, right at the end, I've got to caveat this with enjoy it while it lasts, because this is currently looking like it's very likely to get at least some sort of visit from the Data Slate Fairy, who leaves nerfs under the pillows of detachments that have been naughty. But right now, this is going to be an absolute blast for Necron players everywhere, especially those who've seen a whole squad of Locusts vanish to a frankly underwhelming quantity of firepower one too many times. We have the feeling that this army will get hit with some nerfs down the line as it's arriving borderline busted. Until then, the Starshatter Arsenal should give Necron players a meaningful and powerful alternative to the Hypercrypt Legion. If you want to delve even deeper into these robo-mummy crypts, head on over to goonhammer.com to find out exactly how we played this detachment. And if you really like what we do, you can support us on Patreon. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Baron of Dice, Monument Hobbies, and Grey Matter Gaming for sponsoring this video. I've been Cryptech McLichgard, and my other car is a Catacomb Command Barge. Thanks for watching.